Star Wars Resistance is back with its second season, and Sunday premiered the first episode, Into the Unknown. So, Into the Unknown picks up nearly directly where the season finale for Season 1 left off. Let me just say, I feel like it wasn't the strongest start as possible. I do want to admit it could be possibly me, because I'm lacking a lot of motivation right now, particularly in regards to YouTube. If you saw my channel update, which, judging by the video analytics, I would say you didn't, because only like 2 people watched it. So, you may not know, but I've been lacking motivation to create YouTube videos right now. And I pretty much in my update only promised to make reviews for Star Wars Resistance, and to be honest, it's feeling kind of a drag. It's not like I don't want to make reviews, because I do, but it's more like I'm just not motivated to make the reviews. I had hoped I would feel more motivation after viewing the episode, and I did watch it Sunday, and right afterwards, like, yeah, I wanted to make my review for it, but my schoolwork, my coursework took priority, and by pushing my review back, I think I lost the motivation I needed. Don't know about motivation in here, oddly, when I really should be talking about the episode. But yeah, I do want to say, I don't think it was the strongest start as possible, but I think that might be because of the lack of motivation I'm feeling right now, and it's caused me to be unproductive across the board. So, I'm thinking it's more than the episode. I think it's more me, if that makes sense. But I don't think it was a weak episode. Certainly not. It was a strong episode. But at the same time, it didn't feel like a good season opener to me. Maybe it's because of how it picked up so directly after Season 1. And it didn't feel separate enough, and I feel like with the second season it needs to feel separate. It felt more like a mid-season, the first episode of the second half of a season, rather than the first episode of another season. Like, I didn't feel like there was enough distinction between the two. So it does seem like the writers are poking more fun at Kaz, and I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, the slapstick of him, for me, has gotten old. I really don't want it anymore. But I do like how all the other characters are getting much more, roll eyes. Like, they're expressing my frustrations at Kaz. So I do appreciate that. Like, every character is like, no, Kaz is pretty much incompetent. Let's be real, he's incompetent. Like, Niku, Yigo, Tora's father, they're all so much better characters than Kaz. Kaz's defining trait seems to be incompetence. I feel like that's more of a push to appeal to younger audiences, rather than actually making him a good character. Because I'm honestly, this is not a good episode for Kaz. He's had much stronger episodes before, and that's hurting this episode, I think, of how they treated Kaz. The other characters' reactions to Kaz was good, was well done. Kaz himself was bad, which is kind of weird, but maybe that's kind of the point at the same time, making fun of the weaknesses of your main character. I just don't know. I didn't care for Resistance as much as I did for Rebels, but I do admit that there were some good, strong episodes, some good characters, especially Yigo. I still love Yigo. He's probably the best character on the show. But I do want to say, this episode has really made me rethink of how I looked at Kaz. I kind of initially took as more, okay, he's been put in a situation he wasn't prepared for. Simple as that. But his clumsiness, his incompetence is getting out of hand. It's like, I'm like, what kind of training does the New Republic even do? Their pilot should, okay, I expect a pilot not to be the best mechanic, but I don't expect them to be incompetent either. It's like, makes me wonder, no wonder the First Order took control of the galaxy so quickly. The New Republic doesn't know how to train its soldiers and pilots and basic military stuff. I guarantee you Kaz would not know how to march. I guarantee you that. And drill is like the #1 thing in any Earth military in real life. It's like, I don't think Kaz knows how to drill. In in season 1, we saw he could barely fire blasters. The only thing Kaz seems competent at is piloting. I think, now, if this is to be a commentary on how inept the New Republic is, good job. But it's really suffering for Kaz. It's like suffering his character. He's not aware of his weaknesses at all. He thinks he knows exactly what he can do. Like, the best part is when he accidentally calls Tor Tam because he's so used to having Tam there to assist him with repairing stuff. Oh, and also when he actually does send a private encoded transmission to Tam to try to explain himself. Those were Kaz's best moments. But the rest of him was terrible. I gotta be honest, it's like, unless you're trying to do a commentary on how inept the New Republic is at training soldiers and pilots and all that stuff, I really don't know what they were trying to go with Kaz. If it wasn't for the fact that nearly every other character was rolling their eyes at Kaz, especially the competent characters, and of course, Nico understands why he's not really rolling his eyes, because he takes things a little more literally, but it works with him for not rolling his eyes. But it's like Tora, Yeager, Tora's father, they're all rolling their eyes at Kaz, which I really do appreciate. And I don't blame Tam for being mad at Kaz. I just gotta be honest, I'm not. Granted, for different reasons, but yes. And speaking of Tam, that I think where the episode really strived, talking about Tam. They focus, I think, too much on Kaz, in all honesty, in this episode. But when they did talk about Tam, I think they were spot on. Maybe it's because it was so short that they were able to get it so right. And with Kaz, they had to put in too much filler. That might be part of the problem with Kaz, is they focusing too much on him and not enough on Tam. I feel like they could have done a bit more with Tam. But essentially, Tam, she's joining the First Order. She says that she's giving them all that she can on her friends, basically, because she's pretty much defected to the First Order at this point. Maybe she will realize her mistake or not, we don't know yet. And I'm interested in seeing where that will turn out. But pretty much, Agent Tyranny gets Tam to promise that she'll help however possible in tracking down the Colossus. And then, she's given her new rank and designation, which I don't remember, but DT something, and her rank is Cadet Pilot. And she gets the First Order uniform, and oddly enough, they're letting her keep her old clothes, which kind of surprised me, but it might make sense, because they know they need her on their side. They can't antagonize her too much. Yes, they introduced the military stuff, but maybe let her keep her personal effects, because they want to make sure she doesn't have second thoughts. That's what I'm thinking is going on there. Then, basically, until they find the Colossus, they're going to be treating Tam better than nearly every other First Order pilot and soldier and stormtrooper out there. That's what I think is going on. They're basically saving Tam to ensure her loyalty till they no longer need her to find the Colossus. But because of that, she still had her personal comlink. And she got Kaz's message that I mentioned earlier, and she ignores it. She's like, she hears it and she just turns it off and puts her communicator in there, throws it away. And then the episode ends with her putting the First Order TIE Fighter pilot helmet on. It's like, they did a good job with Tam, much better than they did with Kaz. And I think, as I said earlier, it's because they gave too much time to Kaz. No, because I feel like they should have given more time to some of the other characters, but I do want to admit, the funniest scene in this entire episode had nothing to do with Kaz, or maybe later, but had to do with all the patrons in Anzi's bar, and them basically having a zero-G party. That was hilarious. I wish they kind of focused on other parts of the Colossus and how they were responding to the fact that the gravity generators on the Colossus were malfunctioning. Give more time to that rather than to Kaz's antics. Okay, but I do want to admit the thing with the the first older BB droid is still out on the station and they had to get rid of him. That was good. Everything else, involving Kaz and repairing, just fell flat for me. I think it's because they gave it too much time. Maybe if they, had condensed it and given more time to showing off the residents as a Colossus in this new situation, that would have been good. But unfortunately, they didn't. They focused too much on the main character and not enough on the world. So I guess I've been fairly critical of the episode, but it's not a bad episode. Rather, I think they just had the wrong focus. And it could have been fixed pretty easy. Simply, keep the amount of Tam the same, because I think too much would have ruined it. Reduce the time spent with Kaz, because there's only so much slapstick from the same character you can take. There was some slapstick him also with the patrons in Anzi's bar interacting with the zero-G gravitors, malfunctioning, some being slammed to the floor when gravity got back on and all that. That was good slapstick, because it wasn't slapstick for slapsticks. It basically had a story-driven reason, if you will, or a world-based reason. The gravity generators are interacting. Here's how it's affecting the residents of the Colossus. I wish they had expanded that a bit more, some of the other effects from the escape from the First Order on the residents. But that's just what I thought. What did you think of the episode? So yes, the side stuff I thought was much better than the main stuff. And I think that mainly has to do with because I just don't care for Kaz as a character. That's the main reason. He's almost too one-dimensional when he's not in a cockpit. That's the only time where I really see good character development with Kaz. But I do admit, basically the moment where he actually calls Tora Tam, because he was used to Tam as helping him repair stuff, as I stated earlier, that was a good moment. And probably the best Kaz moment in this entire episode. And Yigo, he had some good moments too, but he wasn't the main focus. Tora, a good amount of screen time as well, but her positive effects on the scene, I think, were overruled by Kaz's just incompetence and clumsiness. It's old, we need to move past it. It worked in the first season, because the first season was more lighthearted, but I think I'm expecting a more, not dark tone, but a more serious tone in the second season. I do hope we get that, and I think that's why for me Kaz's incompetence is now working as humor, because that's not what I'm expecting out of the tone for the second season. But as I said a little bit earlier before I said that stuff, that's just my thoughts. What are yours? So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date on future Star Wars Resistance reviews coming out, and in the future as I get more motivation, because I'm not lacking motivation to plan, only to create the videos themselves. So I'm going to be planning a lot of neat videos coming up, and I hope to get them out on the channel in 2020, so stay tuned for that. And maybe I'll get some more motivation to resume the book club soon. I'm taking a break till I get some more motivation and maybe to have some more time. There'll probably be an episode during fall break and Thanksgiving break for me. But yeah, I do want to get back to the book club, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully when I get some more motivation, maybe you guys can help give me some. And I'm not talking about financial motivation, because while that would be good and you can do so on my Patreon, link in the description, you can also just give me motivation by giving me ideas. Now if I hear a good idea, and I may just create the video on the spot because I don't want to forget it. I would love to hear from you and suggestions on how to improve my channel, of course. I sincerely do like getting feedback from you guys on what I can do better and what else I can do to make this a good channel that will appeal to you, but that I also don't mind working on and creating videos for. Now, I know that's a lot to digest, so consider joining my Discord or following me on social media. You know, the entire spiel, links in the description. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.